Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my channel, The Ebony Mystique. I am an eclectic entrepreneur. I'm a pianist, an author, and a massage therapist. Not always in that order. And this channel is basically about my journey as an author and how I manage being a massage therapist for over 20 years. And occasionally you'll see some piano playing when I get back to posting those videos. But today, if you clicked on this because you know what we're about to have, or what I was having. And I was having textual relations with a book called Inside the Devil's Nest by John Durgin. And when I tell you this book was, from the jump, it was crazy. It was crazy, but it was crazy in a good way. I mean, you got mobsters, you got cults, you got demons, you got ghosts, you got like family issues. It was just crazy. It was crazy, but it was good. So it starts off with a real estate agent. He goes and he checks out an alarm going off at one of his properties, and he stumbles into a whole mess full of mob activity. And this mob activity gets wild, it gets crazy, it gets deadly real quick. And then he has to go and flee because, hey, mobs, we've all seen The Sopranos. I think we've all seen The Sopranos, or at least 1 or 300 mob movies in our lives. You know, they're the bomb sometimes. And he goes to run from the mob, and he ends up in the devil's nest. Let's just call it spade a spade. He ends up in the devil's nest. And it gets crazy. When I tell you this book had me constantly wondering what was going to happen next, because I thought, I'm pretty good at figuring books out, and I'm one of those people who don't mind figuring stuff out. I'm a writer. It's kind of in my brain. So I was like, okay, I got this book figured out. I know exactly what's going to happen. I know exactly who's going to get it, and I know how the ending is going to be, how it's going to be resolved. When I tell you, some things I thought was going to happen did happen, but other things I just did not see coming. I did not see that coming. I'm still a little shocked at how it ended, to be perfectly honest. But I wasn't mad at it, I know a lot of times they say authors like to kill off their darlings and whatnot. When I tell you, there were no darlings in this book. Even some of the kids got on my nerve. I was just like, if we're going to make something happen, let's make it happen with all of these people, because at some point they were all just really, you wanted to root against them. I wanted to root against them. And when some of them got what was coming to them, I was like, that's what you get. But I will say, this book, it didn't leave me bored at all. It didn't leave me bored at all. I was constantly just turning the pages and just trying to get to the next part, because it was so freaking entertaining. It was like there was no downtime. Some books have downtime. I will admit I am guilty of writing downtime in my books sometimes. I'm getting better at it. The little slow spots. I'm so much better at it. But yeah, this book didn't have any slow spots. It was just like full throttle. Let's go. Let's get this cranking. Let's get this out. Let's just, this is what's happening. I love paranormal, supernatural books. I do. I write those. This book, the way it wrote the horror part of it, like, it was so good. It was just so good because I could visualize it. I could see this going through my mind, coming back, going back over again, and then just trying to figure out, like, I don't know how people who write horror stories do it, but the horror element in this book's good. It was good. There was one particular scene with the mobsters that I just was like, I'm not gonna front, I just couldn't read it. I had to like skim a few paragraphs just to get past it, but you get the gist of it right off the bat. You're like, I know it's about to go down. I don't need the visual of this. Not so much. But I do love how the entity, the evil spirits in that book, how they manipulate these people, and how they just coax them into these situations that they wouldn't have been in, and that's typical, but it's like the way that it was written, it was just like, you have children being children and not necessarily the smartest. You have teenagers being teenagers and definitely not necessarily the smartest. And then you have adults who should know better. And you're looking at it like, I'm going to need y'all to get your stuff together so we can all collectively, because now I'm part of the story. I need us to get out of this devil's nest because I don't want to be inside of it. But at the same time, I was so intrigued. And I wish that I knew more about the actual devil in the nest. I mean, they explain him, but it was just kind of like, gosh, I really want to know more about his particular story. My brain went that way. But overall, I was happy with this book. I was very happy with this book. This is like the first horror book I read this year. And it wasn't even one that I was supposed to. I just kind of got sucked into it because I'm in a writing group. And it was like, hey, we're reading this book. And I just looked at the cover and I'm like, okay, first of all, I do judge books by covers. If the cover's attractive, I'm going for it. I'm going to flip it over and read the synopsis. Sorry. Not sorry. But yeah, I was like, okay. I was all in and I was sold and I was just happy with it. So for this book, Inside the Devil's Nest, I'm going to give it 4 bookmarks because it was just that good. And if you like horror stories, I do recommend that you get this book. Test it out. It's not a very long read, but you will enjoy it. And I am going to just leave it at that. You will enjoy this book if you like horror stories. If you like mobs, if you like ghosts. There are Canadian geese outside. I don't know if you can hear that, but they're loud. Well, that's all I wanted to do for today. Just this I need to stop saying that. Just a review for Inside the Devil's Nest by John Durgin, and you can find him on, I found his book on Amazon. I'm pretty sure you can find it at other locations too. It was definitely a good book. 4 bookmarks. I recommend it. And if you like to, like I said, if you like listening to me talk about book reviews, or if you like listening to me talk about how I manage my massage business, stop on in, click the subscribe. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys more often. Again, I'm trying to have these videos up every Tuesday, but I probably won't. So right now, I think I'm doing them like twice a month. So on Tuesday, every other Tuesday, you can find Textual Relations, and you will find me, your eclectic entrepreneur, the Ebony Mystique, not that other one. And till next time, ta-ta.